I don't know, have a good day.
Hello everyone, it's story time. Let's not waste time and start. My best friend from childhood invited me to her wedding but forgot to assign me a seat. My childhood best friend got married this weekend and I was so excited to be there to support her on her big day. I'm a chocolatier, so the bride asked me if I could create the wedding favors and dessert table. I was ecstatic to help her with the wedding and went above and beyond to create a gorgeous table that was a huge hit on the day. I was told early on that the wedding was over budget and to keep costs low. My boyfriend wasn't invited. I was extremely understanding and even reduced my rates for the sweet table as my present to the couple. A couple weeks later, after reviewing the guest list, the bride informed me that my boyfriend could come as my plus one, but if he did, I would be moved from the head table. My boyfriend is a wedding photographer and is looking to build his videography portfolio. Knowing that the couple didn't have a videographer, he offered to film a professional wedding video free of charge. The bride was ecstatic and offered to move us to the vendor table so that we could network with the other vendors. We loved the idea and it was confirmed that we could be sitting with the vendors. The day of the wedding, we arrived 4 hours earlier to help with the event. My boyfriend spent the time filming while I set up the dessert table and helped the event coordinator set the dinner tables. After the ceremony, guests were moved to the cocktail room while the original room was converted into the room for the reception. While helping convert the room, I noticed that our names were not on the seating chart. I asked the event coordinator where we will be sitting and she said, "Good question," and left to find out. She came back to say that there was no one at the table and that if we were staying for dinner, my boyfriend and I would have to sit in a separate room as we were not on the list. The room was closed off from the reception, so we couldn't hear or see anything, let alone talk to anybody. I told the event coordinator that we were in fact guests and that we should be moved into the reception room. The event coordinator herself was seated at one of the tables in the room. I told her I was a long-time friend of the bride and even originally meant to be seated at the head table. However, the event coordinator said she couldn't do anything about it. I approached the bride to explain the situation. She mentioned that it was definitely a mix-up and that we should be in the room. The bride mentioned that she didn't want to undermine me as a businesswoman, so she never told the event coordinator that we were friends or that I was a guest. She left the coordination of the vendor table to the event coordinator and left it off of their seating chart. The event coordinator was not made aware that any of the vendors besides herself and the MC were staying for the reception and therefore didn't think to add us in. Also, I understand the mix-up. The bride did nothing to get us moved to the main room. My boyfriend and I were cut off from the reception with no one to speak to, no way to see or hear, and even had to ask to be fed. As a result, I missed the entire wedding and spent the majority of the evening crying in the bedroom waiting to move the dessert table into the main room after dinner so that we could leave. My boyfriend continued to film everything as he was committed to getting a beautiful video for his portfolio. The next morning, I emailed the bride about the experience. She apologized profusely and said she was scatterbrained on the day and didn't think to do anything about it. She feels extremely guilty and would still like to be friends. I would like to forgive her, but I'm still extremely hurt. Update. After reading everyone's responses and doing some reflecting, I've come to the conclusion that she is not my friend. Our relationship in the past few months was mostly consisted of her blowing me off and me interpreting it as though she was busy. She moved across the country 2 years ago, but lives here often. Most of the couple's friends and family still live here, which is why they decided to have their wedding here. Every time she's come to visit, we've tried to make plans which would end with me being blown off. The excuse was always that some last-minute thing came up, which is why she didn't have time to see me. She called me once before her engagement party to let me know that I will be invited to it, but I was never actually invited. I responded to pictures of it online just saying gorgeous. And she explained that I was invited because her mother-in-law planned it and didn't know her friends. Moral of the story, the only time I've seen her within the past year was to do a free tasting for her wedding after she mentioned that she would not finalize her order without a tasting. We had plans to meet up the same week of the tasting, which she blew. I read her apologetic email and interpreted it differently the second time. The email mainly follows the structure of excuse, but there's not an excuse. In one section she wrote that also she would still like to be friends. She understands that I may not want to, and that's fine. To me it seems as though she was saying she wouldn't care if we were to no longer be friends. At the end of the email she added, P.S. We will still like the video, despite making it a point prior to the wedding to let my boyfriend and I know that she couldn't care less about the wedding video. Also, she mentioned in her email that she would make it up to me. I haven't heard a word from her since I responded back to her email, nearly accepting to apology the day after the wedding. I watched my boyfriend's rough edit of the wedding video this week and listened to her speech. She added a section where she thanked her friends for transcending the lines of friends and family. She called out a long list of names from the friend group. Mine wasn't included, which sealed the deal for me, especially since I was so involved in the preparation of the wedding that she wouldn't have just forgotten my name. Moving forward, I'll be a lot more cautious with my circle, and I'll definitely be more strict with doing business with friends. No more paying out of pocket. My boyfriend has agreed to not go out of his way to send her the video. If she asks for it, he will send a link to a shortened version on his website. I couldn't convince him to add a watermark, also that was my favorite solution. Thanks everyone for your recommendations, so we'll see if she comes around in a month or so. I will definitely not be reaching out. Okay, that's all. Do you like this story? And what do you think about it? Please write your thoughts in the comments. And now story time is over. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe to our channel and have a good one.
I don't know, have a good day.